What is the first thing that you play when you pick up your guitar? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind typically to play?
You know, I didn't think that there was something until somebody pointed out to me one of the things that something like that. I don't know, it's kind of like John Lee Hooker on steroids or something, but I always, when I'm checking the sound, I always do, it's some open-y kind of blues riff.
It's got to sound good with that.
Yeah,
right?
That's the starting place.
Yeah.
What's the low string sound like? What's the high string sound like? Is it too dirty? Is it too clean?
Yes. Warren, who pointed that out to you? Did somebody say to you, "Hey, you'd play this when you're trying out your amp"?
I can't remember who, but it was the first time that I realized, oh yeah, I guess I do that. You know, I pick up a guitar, plug it in, and
that's like your sound check.
Yeah, you can plug in and play that, and then turn the knobs because you know what's wrong.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody has something that is similar that way. You know.
Yeah. I love your voice. You're an amazing singer.
Thank you.
Do you think of yourself as a singer or a guitar player or both?
I think of myself as someone lucky to be able to do both. And I always say that, and I include my songwriting in this, that I'm lucky that I have all three of those things, because when I'm really down on one or two of those three things, usually I feel pretty good about one of them.
Yeah.
So, and some people may not know what we're referring to, but I think musicians in general tend to get down on their own playing or singing or writing or whatever it is. We all critique ourselves pretty harshly.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. This is actually Rick Beato 2. I've had it since the beginning of my main channel, and many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. This will help me get even more of my dream guests and help continue to grow both channels. Thank you.
If I don't feel good about my playing, at least I'm singing pretty good. Or if I don't feel good about my singing, well, but at least I'm writing pretty good these days. You know, God forbid I wouldn't feel good about one of them. But I started singing first. Mm-hmm. And so all the guitar players that I became enamored with were either singers also, or players like Santana that sounded like they were singing through their instrument.
Right.
And I think it's because I was enamored with singers before that. I loved B.B. King's voice before I cared about guitar. Mm-hmm. I just thought, what an amazing voice. Singer. And then as I got more into guitar, I'm like, oh, he's a pretty awesome guitar player too. Freddie King, I always say, would be one of my favorite singers even if he didn't play guitar.
Right.
I've said this, and I think some people take offense to it. I don't know why, but every musician should listen to singers. Mm-hmm. Every musician should listen to singers and to drummers, because it's only going to help you with your overall musicality. Every musician should learn how to play drums and to sing at least some.
Yeah.
The great singers that we all grew up hearing are the best phrasers.
Absolutely.
And you can learn how to phrase better by listening to the greatest singers in the world and translating that to how you play. And I think there's a reason, of course, horn players have to take a breath too.
Yeah.
But the fact that singers have to breathe automatically gave them this sense of punctuation that you have to learn as a musician. Because we all know players that play great, have chops, have technique, maybe even have tone, vibrato, whatever, but don't know when to take a breath.
Right.
It's like, well, okay, because you need to listen to Aretha Franklin, or you need to listen to Ray Charles or Otis Redding. Pavarotti, whatever.
Yeah.
You can learn from all of them.
Yeah.
I always was gravitated toward those players that had that singing quality. Any instrument, sax players too. Somebody asked me one time, "What are you trying to get your guitar to sound like?" And I said, "Like Sonny Rollins' saxophone." There's just, when you hear a tone that's impeccable, it's like, how do I sound more like that?
Right.
And the great singers, that's another thing, is the great singers have tone. Their tone, they sing one note. It sounds unbelievable. So to me, that's the most valuable lesson of all. You should be able to play one note and have it sound really good. If not, then you don't have the right tone.
You're talking about phrasing, about taking breaks, and this is what I love about when you improvise is the spaces that you leave, or the ends of phrases, the way you come off a note or something.
I used to hear people saying that, and I didn't really know what they meant. They would say it's what you don't play.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And then I heard this thing, I don't know if it's true. I heard a thing that supposedly Miles had said at one time when he was telling somebody to think differently about their instrument. Listen to what's in your head and don't play it, and then play in the space. And I thought, whether that's true or not, that's a cool concept.
It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. That's amazing.
And so if you're thinking, like, oh, well, that opens up
genius.
a whole nother door.
Yeah.
Anytime you can discover something that you never would have thought of, it's all about opening those doors, and they open less frequently as we get older. So when it happens, it's important to kind of run with it.
What's the first song that you actually played guitar and sang?
I mean, it was probably an Allman Brothers song. Mm-hmm. I remember learning Melissa when I was really young and singing that. It could be that. I'm sure there was something before that, but that's a definite possibility.
But that was kind of that's one of the reasons to learn the guitar, right? So you could accompany your voice.
I was hearing all these singer-songwriters, folk artists around Asheville that wrote their own songs and sang and accompanied themselves. And I was like, that is so cool. I really want to do that. And I was starting to hear, James Taylor and Jackson Brown, and listen, my brother listening to a lot of Dylan. And of course, Dylan changed everything for everybody. But I was glad that somewhere around 14 or something, I wanted to think about acoustic and not just to stay with electric.